Sergeant Owens, please call our February 6, 2024 council meeting order.
All right.
I would like to recognize our chaplain today, Pastor James Brodex of the Embassy of Faith Ministries, invited by Councilwoman Logan. Pastor Brodex, please lead us in prayer. Oh, wrong chaplain. Councilwoman Jerry Green.
It's DeAndre Brown.
Pastor Brown, come on up. And that was last week.
Mark 4:39 says, "And he rose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." Heavenly Father, I ask you today that you allow peace to reign in the city of Memphis. Allow peace to reign in this sacred hall. Allow peace to reign in our hearts and in our minds, and allow it to ooze from these halls into the streets, into the hearts and minds of our citizens. I ask, God, that you allow peace to reign when there are disagreements among this body and the citizens. I ask, God, that you allow us to begin to pull together in unity in one direction and not allowing differences to keep us separated because the criminals are organized. I ask, God, that you allow us to have peace when we make these decisions and give them the wisdom to make decisions for all the citizens of the great city of Memphis. We thank you, Father, for this opportunity. We love you with everything that we have, and we ask that you would reign. In Jesus' name, amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reverend Brown, thank you for that prayer. Councilwoman Jerry Green, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Ooh, that's louder than I thought. I like to say when I'm with DeAndre that I am his #1 fan, unless his wife's in the room, and then I'm 1A. She's in the room, so I'm 1A today. DeAndre and I, of course, have worked together closely on the county side on many issues, but my favorite thing about him is that he walks the walk. He, of course, has a storied history, and I am so proud that recently he was pardoned by Governor Lee. It's a big dang deal, y'all. And we'll look for Joe Biden to do it next. Anyway, I'm happy to present this proclamation today to you in recognition of a life of exemplary qualities, outstanding service to the city, meritorious involvement in humanitarian affairs, and demonstrated concern for governmental processes. You have been appointed the chaplain of the day. Thank you.
So I'm going to take a point of personal privilege to recognize the councilwoman from District 7, Councilwoman Issa Thomas.
Thank you, Chair. Colleagues, good afternoon, and to the city of Memphis. We have brought in very special guests from a place that holds a good seat in my heart, Overton High School. So today we are joined by the Overton High School Choir and their wonderful director, Dr. Dina Brown Vaughn, as they will lead us as we begin Black History Month with the Black National Anthem. So I invite them towards the front to usher us in. Nice sweaters, right? Colleagues and City of Memphis, if you would, if everyone could please stand.
Councilwoman. Councilwoman Easter Thomas.
Thank you, Chair, for allowing that moment. Colleagues, I just wanted to present a certificate of recognition to Choral Director Dina Brown Vaughn and the Overton High School Choir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, Dina.
Again, thank you to Overton High School for blessing us, and Councilwoman Easter Thomas for inviting them out. Madam Comptroller?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You know what to do. Please call roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Canale, Carlisle, Cooper Sutton, Easter Thomas, Ford, Green, Logan, Espinosa. Here. Swearingen Washington.
Present.
Eva Waka. Sheriff Warren. Present. Janika White.
Present.
Chairman Smiley.
No place I'd rather be.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I believe the Vice Chairman Canale has read the minutes from our January 23rd, 2024 meeting.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I have reviewed the minutes from the January 23rd meeting, find them to be in order, and I move for their adoption.
I don't think the screen. There we go.
All right.
Chairman.
And also, could we go ahead?
Oh, thank you, sir. Canale, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chair Smiley, yes.
This item passes. Can we please let the record show that Councilwoman Logan is here as well? All right. Welcome to the February 6, 2024 regular meeting of the Memphis City Council. Meetings of the council shall be conducted in an orderly manner to ensure that public has the full opportunity to be heard and the deliberate process of the council is retained at all times. The Sergeant at Arms has meeting agendas available up front, as well as comment request cards for members of the public wishing to be heard on a specific item. So if you want to speak on a specific item, go see Cedric. Cedric's here, and he'll give you a comment card. All those wishing to speak on an item must turn in their comment card to Cedric, the Sergeant at Arms, before the item is called. If you are not here to speak on a specific item, you can note your request to give general comment at the end of the meeting. As chair, I will only recognize citizens that have properly registered to speak by submitting a completed comment request card to the Sergeant at Arms. Cedric, raise your hand. Cedric, there we go. That's Cedric. Go talk to him. Members of the audience and persons addressing the council will not be permitted to engage in gossip, make defamatory, personal, slanderous, or profane comments, or use abusive or vulgar language. So if you do any of that, I'm going to ask you to leave. The chairperson of the council, me, may maintain order by giving that person who are in violation of the stated rules decorum warning, to cease any violative conduct, or an order to leave the council chambers, or by giving an order for security personnel to remove any disruptive person in the council chambers who refuses to leave voluntarily. These rules are posted on the doors as you enter. Hopefully you took a look at them. The chamber as you pick up your comment cards as well. Item 2 will be heard on the consent agenda. Item 9 will be held until the next meeting. Item 10 will be held until February 20th. Item 11 will be held until March 5th, 2024. Madam Comptroller, please call item 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 1 is a resolution honoring the life and exemplary service of former Memphis City Schools Administrator, Commissioner, and President Sarah L. Lewis. This resolution is sponsored by the Memphis City Council.
Dr. Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. After I read this resolution, I think it would be appropriate if the entire council came down for our family with Ms. Lewis's family. Resolution, whereas on occasion, the Memphis City Council has seen fit to honor citizens who have enriched the community, and Sarah L. Lewis was one such citizen whose legacy is most certainly worthy of honoring. Whereas Ms. Lewis attended, but not graduated Manassas High School, and then received a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from Lemoyne-Owen College after she literally blew up the college entrance exam, and a Master's of Education, elementary education from Memphis State University, before becoming a trailblazer and an advocate for issues concerning youth, minority affairs, equity, and education. And whereas Miss Lewis commenced her career in education with Georgia Avenue Elementary School and later served as principal of Lauderdale Elementary School and as assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction for the Memphis City School District, she received these leadership appointments under the former Memphis Mayor Willie Harrington's tenure as Memphis City Schools Superintendent. She served as Executive Director of Free the Children, Director of Shelby County Head Start, and Director of the Cities of Memphis's Office of Youth Service and Community Affairs. And whereas Ms. Lewis was a member of the Tennessee Commission of Children and Youth, the Tennessee Education Association Board of Directors, the Memphis Education Association Board of Directors, the Board of Directors of the Memphis Literacy Council, and the Board of Directors of the United Way of Greater Memphis, and a member of Vice President Albert Gore's Tennessee Family Reunion Steering Committee, a commissioner of the Private Industry Council, and chair of the Planning Committee of the Tennessee Commission on Youth and Children. She served as treasurer and president of Memphis Principals Association. And whereas Sarah Lewis served the Memphis City with great distinction as a member of the Memphis City School Board, where she, quote, fought fiercely for equity and educational excellence, end quote, and was the first African American to be elected to an at-large position on the Shelby County Board of Education. And whereas a recipient of numerous awards, Sarah L. Lewis received the Tennessee Education Association's Susan B. Anthony Award for Outstanding Leadership, the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority's Outstanding Service Award, the Memphis Minority Business Development Center's Organizational Advocate Award, the Outstanding Alumni for Instruction and Curriculum Leadership from the University of Memphis, and the University of Memphis Distinguished Alumni Award. And whereas the Memphis City Council offers its sincere condolences to the family and friends of Sarah L. Lewis and echoes the desire of the citizens of Memphis in recognizing the loss of such a remarkable Memphian. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Memphis City Council pays tribute to the life of Sarah L. Lewis and expresses our sincere gratitude for her commitment to service and her exemplary legacy. She will continue to live on through her achievements and contributions to the citizens of Memphis. Given by our hand this day under the Great Seal of Memphis, February 6, 2024, Memphis City Council.
Moved by.
I so move.
Could we show this item?
By acclamation.
By acclamation. Thank you, Madam Comptroller.
Okay. Families are up and council around. Come on in. Yeah, we're going to face them that way, I guess. And they can get us out. Where's the best one? All right. Can we do it?
Guido don't want to come in. You didn't want us to make any comment? Oh. Which camera are we looking at? Who are we looking at? Which one? All right. We're done?
No, yeah, I think we're done. We're going to let family speak. And now we'll hear from Miss Lewis's granddaughter.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you for, especially to Dr. Warren, not only city councilman, but my grandmother's physician who was with us from everything, just trying to make sure that she was comfortable. So I just want to thank you all. My family wants to thank everyone just for taking the time to recognize and honor her legacy. She got her flowers, thankfully, when she was here, and now she continued to receive her flowers beyond. So thank you all so much.
Madam Comptroller, please call item number 8. Item number 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 8 is an appointment to City Court Clerk, Sakita Johnson, and there is a request for same-night minutes.
My mic's on. Councilwoman Musa Thomas, you recognize.
Chair, the committee may recommend approval for same night minutes, and I so move.
Moved by Issa Thomas, seconded by Spinoza. If you would like to speak, you go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted to thank you all in advance. I also want to thank Judge Chandler and the rest of the judges for appointing me, the mayor for approving the appointment, and I would like to thank all of my staff who are here to support me.
It appears they're happy about this. There we go. It's not too often we have people down here who are voluntarily standing in support of someone who's going to lead the office. So that's commendable, and we hope that you do a great job because that office sorely needs leadership. So we're looking forward to your leadership. Thank you so much. Any other council members in the queue? It appears that all hearts and minds are clear. Madam Comptroller, could you please prepare the screen for vote?
Canali, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chair Smiley, yes.
This item passes. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
I just love excitement for good things. All right. Madam Comptroller, could you please call item number 3?
Item number 3 is a resolution pursuant to Chapter 9.6 of the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code, approving a planned development at the subject property located at 1230 North Watkins Street. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is PD 23-25.
Councilman Canali, you are recognized, good sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was heard in committee, was sent downstairs without recommendation. With that, I move it to the floor. Madam Comptroller, if I could, I'd like to give the applicant 15 minutes and those opposed 15 minutes as well. Colleagues, does anyone wish to see a presentation from DPD again before we get started?
I think it'd be valuable. Just a brief update on what we learned.
Mr. Ragsdale, floor is yours.
Brevity, so essentially a brief update on the information you gave upstairs. Can we get his mic on?
With the Division of Planning and Development. This is case PD 2325. It was heard at committee upstairs, and there were some things that we discussed amending, one of which was the uses, and I do not have the new use that we discussed at committee here, but I can mention that. These are the conditions, the outline plan conditions. Number 1, uses permitted, A1 and 2 are staying as shown here. We are adding a 3, which is allowing the use of sawmill without chemical use. And then in B, you see the highlighted conditions, which we have listed as the strictly prohibited uses that are currently allowed by right in the EMP Light Industrial Zoning District. And in addition to the ones that were approved at Lanes Control Board, we're adding the following conditions: convenience store with gas pumps, gas station, truck stop, tractor trailer fueling of, smoke or vape shop. To the campground, we're adding travel trailer park, recreational vehicle park, and then we're also adding restricting all warehouse and distribution. And then the final condition, we're adding condition number 8, which is the proposed air burner incinerator is not included in this approval. Future use of the ACI or similar operation shall require an amendment to this PD. Is that brevity?
You know, I love brevity.
Thank you.
Councilman Canale, I guess the applicant.
Ms. Austin, would you and your team like to come down and present first? If you would begin with your name and address for the record. If you all do not use your entire 15 minutes to start, you can reserve the remainder of your time after the opposition speaks. But once you start after you say your name and address for the record, the clock will start. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Carpenter. I live at 2130 Curry Avenue in the Hyde Park community. I support Memphis Urban Wood. Y'all, everywhere I go, I feel like I have to fight for my community. I mean, we got so much blight in our community, and it's time for the people who we elect to stand up for the people that live in these communities. I got maps. I live closer to this site probably than anybody in here. I'm just being honest with y'all. It's time for us to give the people what they want. That's a song, but I mean, it's time for y'all to give the people what they want. I mean, I could have brought tons and tons of people down here, but people have to work, you know, so I support Memphis Urban Wood. I don't care if it brings 8 or 80 jobs or 800 jobs to our community. Y'all, our kids are out here dying on the street. We lost 2 seniors in my community, in that very community that we talking about right now and holding signs about right now. We lost children in that community, 2 in 2 weeks, that was graduating this year. Maybe could have one of those jobs. I don't care if it served 8 to 80. And y'all, we gotta start electing the right people to represent us. And I support people that I feel like don't represent our community in the way that they should. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I live there.
Name and address for the record, and you can begin.
Good evening. My name is Joyce Grimes. My address is 3266 McHale Drive. And I do support the Memphis Urban Wood. I have been a recycling advocate for a number of years. In 2015, curbside recycling came to the city of Memphis. And we as a city are still not understanding the importance of recycling. And our children, the next generation, they don't have a clue of how waste is affecting their environment with all of these different respiratory diseases. And it's just time for us as a people to understand the importance of recycling. My organization, Trash to Treasure, I give yard signs. I give indoor recycle bins to people that can't afford them. But we've got to stop wasting, but find better ways to dispose of the waste that we create. And so anything in our community that's gonna bring our environment to where it will be and should be by doing things as recycling and remaking things into things that can be used, job creations, I am in agreement for it. Thank you.
Good evening, council. I come to you all humbly to tell you what I feel about working with Memphis Urban Wood. Oh, my name is Carlton, and I live at 1408 North Lexington Drive, 38107. All right. My job is fairly easy for now. I plant trees, work with construction-grade machinery, and manage my site whenever needed. I cannot tell you much about the process it took Memphis Urban Wood to get here, but I can give you 4 reasons why they should stay. First and foremost, they provide new life to an empty lot, which was filled with trash and inhabited by wild dogs. And yes, this lot was unused for many, many years before I got there. Second, this project will put Memphis on the map for more than its crime, inconvenient transit authority, and political shenanigans. Third, this company provides great paying jobs to people who may not find warehouse work, fast food, or other jobs of that nature lucrative. And lastly, after doing personal research, I found that every machine we have on our site is 100% environmentally safe. No chemicals will run off into the nearby neighborhood. What we are doing at Memphis Urban Wood is for profit, but without the big business ways. We want to create new jobs in a more green line of work. All that we do on our site is 100% safe for the environment. Cypress Creek will not be contaminated, nor the communities around it. After working within surrounding communities for over 2 years, I have seen the need for job opportunity and reconstruction. Please give us a chance to do what we need to do. Keep our doors open. Thank you.
My name is Patrick Gridley. I live at 1854 Felix Ave, 38114. Appreciate the brevity comment, so I will keep that way. We at Memphis Urban Wood believe that this project could be a North Star for North Memphis. We're revitalizing and repurposing a lot that sat vacant for years. That lot has been an echo chamber for the noisy intersection at Chelsea and Watkins. It's been an unmonitored trash dumping location for obvious reasons. We've been in there for only a few months, and we've already cleaned it up, and we've planted trees, and we'll continue to plant trees that will serve as a buffer for sound from that intersection and from our own site. We believe that this will beautify the site for ourselves, our employees, and the neighborhood itself. We believe it can only improve the property values around it by proving that there are good projects that can be done in this area and good jobs that can be provided with a project of this nature. The jobs are real, they're there, we're just waiting on approval. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Pardon me. Good afternoon. My name is Wes Hopper. I'm in 38133 zip code, Memphis. I am an urban forestry consultant, and I'm here on an advisory level. And I reviewed the landscape plans this morning, and I have to agree with our previous speaker that the landscape plan that I looked at is very expansive. There will be trees that are going to border the entire property. The trees will be approved by myself, and I'll also represent the Memphis Tree Board, if I failed to mention that. The bioswale that that's going to be installed in the back is part of the Smart Yard program for sustainability. Bioswale will be intended to catch any pollutants that could possibly, but very doubtful, would flow into Cypress Creek. So I think we're in good shape on the landscape. I think it is definitely an improvement to that site. I remember when that shopping store was there, because I lived on North Hollywood. I remember shopping at that store as a child. I remember a lot about that area. I have watched it change, and I do understand the way that the city has to operate. The city has to operate in a sense to make sense for everybody. I think this is a good idea and a good plan. I ran a tree service for over 30 years, and I do know that there's a desperate need for wood reprocessing, just like it is when you own a forest of trees, 100 acres or so, those trees are harvested and repurposed. It's a desperate, desperate need to have these trees that are within an urban environment be repurposed. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daniel Torres. My address and over the 8 years that we've been operating, I think that I'm positive that the net outcome of our operation is positive, that we're bringing more value to the community. And I think over 700 students to date have had the opportunity to work with lumber, see lumber be processed, have a local material that tells the story of their community. So they're not on the table if we don't take this opportunity and run forward with it. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name While this might be an unfamiliar and an unknown type of land use, it is a new way to rethink about bringing resources and taking the burden off of our city's waste system. That's something that we have to consider. About 6 months ago or so, we began engaging a number of individuals. In fact, we've had about 12 to 13 young folks who went through a cohort in Klondike and have been trained on how to operate such a facility. You heard it earlier in council committee, and I'll offer to you again, the opening wage and entry-level jobs are about $20 an hour, and these people are making or have the opportunity to make about $40,000 a year. And so this is a new and unique type of land development that would be new to Memphis. We've also offered several videos in cities like Anaheim, California. The population is roughly 350,000, so a relatively urban area where these type of developments currently coexist in a surrounding community, a vibrant community, as well as Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we've offered several examples of that. And so what I would say to the people who may not understand is that while this might seem unfamiliar, it might even seem like a traditional land use or a burden on the community, but Memphis Urban Wood is not that. Memphis Urban Wood is thinking about how we reshape our future, how we change the economic activity and the economic development in Klondike, and how we're working collectively as a whole to protect all of the surrounding collateral investments in this neighborhood. We hope that we will have your support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of council. My name is Charles Lampkin. I live 3711 Austin P. Highway. Today, I support Memphis Urban Wood in their opportunity to bring this community together. Well, if this lot has sat there, many have said that it's sat there vacant and it has had no use. This is an opportunity to engage the community, to bring structure, to get these young people together and do something that's cohesive and actually be a leader, a North Star. We need to do something that's getting some movement together, that's cohesive, that's bringing people together, all on the same sheet of music, the same verse, so that something is happening in our community that's productive, that's bringing stakeholders, community leaders together, engaging, and then educating these young people and giving them an opportunity to earn a real wage. This is a wonderful opportunity not to look at this as, well, I'm apprehensive about it, and come together and let's embrace it and let's sanction it and let's move forward and do something that's going to benefit Memphis collectively and in a wonderful way. I support Memphis Urban Wood. I think that this is going to be a wonderful opportunity to see these people do what we need to do in this neighborhood and then do something positive and bring something really, really great into the neighborhood. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Madam Comptroller, please reserve 1 minute, 47 seconds for the applicant. Now for the, oh, you want to speak?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Mike Larrabee, 2211 Evelyn Avenue, 38104. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. Mike Larrabee, 2211 Evelyn Avenue, 38104. I heard Director Zena speak upstairs about all the gray area and the zoning vagaries that he has to deal with. It's not an easy job. I think in this particular scenario, this is gray area that's progressive and forward-thinking. It's a space that I've spent a lot of my career in. And this is not more of the same for the neighborhood. This is a progressive solution to jobs. This is a progressive solution to a tremendous and expensive waste management situation, and it's activating blighted property. We received 4 phone calls today for folks that can walk to work to this location that are ready to come to work right now. I'm a scientist, and this is unfamiliar territory for me. It just makes logical sense in a lot of ways, and I hope that the community and that Memphis sees the value in what this type of program can bring to the city. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Madam Comptroller, please reserve 50 seconds for the applicant.
Right next to 1343 North Willett, which was rezoned. There has been all types of business. Street. So I'm going to yield because it's a lot of more people who want to speak. And if I have some more time, I will speak. But I'm tired of fighting. I'm 83 years old, retired, and been there in that neighborhood for 60 years. So I'm just tired.
My name is Louise Jones. I live at 1277. Sorry. My name is Louise Jones. I live at 1277 North McNeil Street. Good afternoon, City Council members. I am 85 years old.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you move your mic just?
Okay.
I really want to hear you. And there we go.
All right. I am 85 years old, retired, who has lived in New Chelsea neighborhood for 49 years, since 1975. I am deeply concerned about the well-being of my community, especially its health and pollution. That's why I'm urging you to vote no on the plan to turn 1230 North Watkins Street into a heavy industry. Everyone is talking about good jobs, but no one is talking about your health. I have asthma, and I know how hard it is to breathe when there is smoke, dust, diesel in the air. But just like the smell of barbecue lingering in the air, so with the sawmill dust. I do not want to see it further degraded by more heavy zone. I believe we can do better than the sound of trucks waiting in line to enter the site and pollution, such as diesel from the delivery trucks coming and going on the property. Yesterday, as long as the wind was blowing, it have been all over where I live. Now, none of the investors for this project live in North Memphis. They can go home and forget about the air we breathe. But we can't. They do not have to worry about the air they breathe. This is not just about business. It's about our health, our environment, and our future. We in North Memphis deserve better. That's why I'm urging you to vote no on this plan. Thank you for listening, and I hope you do the right thing.
Hello, I'm Angie Powell. I live at 1461 Tutwiler Avenue. And location is how I feel about this project. And because this is the gateway to my neighborhood, I don't want my neighborhood to look like this corner currently looks and to be exacerbated by putting a sawmill on this corner. More important than me, however, are the residents that have been gone around and they have not been listened to or even asked how they felt. How this neighborhood got in this position was people that don't live here making decisions about what goes here, and I implore you to stop this. It is morally not great that you think you know what's best for these residents, or even I think I.
Proposed heavy zoning that is harmful to elderly residents and others with respiratory problems, and the lack of transparency on the part of the investors in Urbanwood who have been ignoring our questions for months. For example, a member of the Land Use Control Board recommended that Urbanwood continue discussing its plans with us, but Urbanwood scoffed at the suggestion and said it would not talk to any more residents in the neighborhood or in the adjacent neighborhoods. The long-term well-being of any community is anchored to and completely reliant upon the health and well-being of all its members, of the health and well-being of Mrs. Pipkin and Mrs. Jones, who live across the street, and of those who live in the adjacent neighborhoods. How does a plant hiring 6 to 10 people who may be from anywhere in the Mid-South or California, create civic engagement and economic prosperity? Urbanwood is a small segment, many of whose leaders live outside Memphis, that thinks it holds solutions to cleaning up atmospheric pollution, recycling, purifying streams and lakes, decreasing global warming, and maybe bringing about world peace. For far too long, small parts of our community have determined the priorities and directions of resources in our neighborhoods. A more community-centered, balanced approach is what is desperately needed to stop the spread of concentrated poverty in North Memphis. Finally, when a disagreement becomes a serious conflict between an industry and the nearby residents, the residents should be prioritized. Thank you.
Hello, council members. My name is Karen Edwards, and I live at 1887 South Rainbow, Memphis 38107. This case has drawn the residents of North Memphis, Hyde Park, Chelsea, Becca, individuals from Klondike to take a firm stand against upzoning this property at 1230 North Watkins to heavy industrial. Our efforts have been all grassroots. Collectively, we've made a huge impact. I mean, you see the people here today, not only local community, but areas within the city have joined our fight to keep the existing light industrial zoning. Manual signatures have been collected, and each of you should have a copy of that through change.org. A total of 165 signatures were obtained through manual signatures, and we received 217 signatures on change.org. So Memphis City Council members, I implore you to listen to your people. 8 of the 13 of you all represent North Memphis. That's us. Okay. I'm sorry. That's a part of it. Memphis City Council members, I ask you to stand with North Memphis, the community and the residents there, and vote no for PD 2023-025. Thank you. I yield my time.
I'm Floyd Rogers. I live at 1721 Greenview. I've been on Greenview Circle now. My mother and my family moved over there when I was 17 years old. I'll be 87 years old if I live another 2 weeks. And we've been fighting something ever since I've been over there. Vassar, next air, now this. You know, you talk about old wood. Old wood has to have mold in order to decay it. So you're going to have spores all over the neighborhood. And on top of that, you got a termite, be it a breeder with old wood. And all this is being brought to our neighborhood. We got enough junkyards over there already. There's 3 junkyards over there already. So we want a relief. Take this thing somewhere else. There's plenty of open land all around Shelby County. You could take this thing too, instead of bringing it to our neighborhood. We've had enough. Please give us some relief. Thank you.
Donald Baptiste, 893 Stonewall Street, Memphis, Tennessee, 38107. Proud North Memphian. Good evening, esteemed council members. I proudly serve as the president of the Valentine Evergreen Community Association, proudly known as VECA. I stand before you today expressing the resounding opposition of our community to the proposed planned industrial development for 1230 North Watkins Street. Our surrounding communities at Chelsea and North Watkins have borne the weight of industrial activities for too long. See Bugman Institutes and also Next Air on McLean. And it is time to prioritize the health and welfare of the people who call this area home. VECA is rallying along with our other North Memphis neighborhoods and Midtown neighborhoods to oppose PD 2023-25. We implore each city council member to truly hear our collective voice. Memphis's overall success hinges on a network of healthy neighborhoods. We are advocating for the fundamental right of less intensive zoning, clean air, and an overall better quality of life. VECA's mission is to maintain a quality residential neighborhood through community partners. At VECA, we are driven by our values. We are the voice of our community. We are culturally and economically diverse. We support grassroots projects, and we support green spaces. See our V&E Green Line. We appreciate your attention to this matter and respectfully urge each and every one of you council members to stand with us in advocating for North Memphis, advocating for Midtown, advocating for Memphis. Thank you.
So going forward, if you approve of something that an individual says, give me a thumbs up. And if you dislike or adverse to what someone says, just a thumbs down, no clapping. All right, thank you all for your indulgence. Go ahead.
My name is Jennifer Sanders, and I live at 971 North Avalon, Memphis, Tennessee, 38107. I've been a longtime resident of North Memphis for over 40 years, and I am here on behalf of my mother and the members of the community who could not be here. We, along with the neighbors in the community, walked the streets obtaining signatures for the petition. And as we walked the streets, we saw the conditions of our neighbors. They don't even have the money to get their houses fixed. Their houses are falling apart and they need paint, and nobody is there to help them. That's the type of thing that we need in our community. Not a heavy industrial, but we need help. God bless you.
Good afternoon. Stephanie Walker, 786 North McNeil. This is my family's home since 1968. I'm here today to more try to understand how this even made it to this council. I went to the open house last week and spoke to the engineer, Mr. Laramie, who said that they have already passed the health department. I went to the health department on Monday. They said that they have the pollution construction permit, but they're going to be advertising for a community meeting in today's Memphis Daily News. So that pollution in the health department has not been met. I looked on the DPD application. It's listed as health department, no comment. I just don't understand how we got here.
Address is 839 Stonewall Street, 38107. My name is Natasha Strong, and my address is 839 Stonewall Street, 38107. Good afternoon, Memphis City Council for members and representatives. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. You see the people present. You see us with our signs. The first speakers you saw were 83 and 80. One has lived in this area since 1975. The other the after effects and the impact of those decisions. Why should her house, residential single family, be next to industrial? Why should industrial continue to encroach upon a residential area? If you have residences to the east, to the west, and the south, why are you approving industrial, heavy industrial? Why does Chelsea Avenue have to be a high-intensity area? Downzone sections of Lamar, downzone sections of Summer Avenue, because the residents, the community, came before the city council and said, this is hurting us. Please do something. You're looking at people here today who are coming to you saying, this is hurting us. Please do something. Why should they have to come back at 100 years old because another company or business has purchased the site and they want to do whatever with the heavy industrial zoning because Memphis Urban Woods has filed what they're supposed to file with DPD and the Register of Deeds to make sure that this is permanently heavy industrial zoning. It's unfair. Zoning matters. They're retired. They are retired. They have been doing this since October, and we're now into February. And if you approve this, guess what? She's already told you she has asthma. Well, sure, they're not going to do the air burner, and they're not going to do the air canister, and they're going to put the sawmill somewhere else. But there is heavy industrial zoning throughout Memphis and Shelby County, all over the Memphis and Shelby County. So why do you have to upzone something that is supposed to be environmentally friendly, eco-friendly? But you have to upzone just to even operate. And then you're operating, you get cited by DPD or the health department.
Excuse me, you can wrap up. You can make your closing statement. I'll just let you know, time is ticking. Go ahead and close it.
So the Air Pollution Board with Shelby County Health Department, they did not obtain it. This was in November. Land Use Control Board was November 9th. They didn't obtain it November 7th. When they had the community meeting on Monday, October 30th, which they just sent a letter in the mail, and the neighborhood association found out, oh, a meeting is supposed to be here at 6 p.m. No phone call, no notification.
Ms.
You
Strong.
just happened to open the mail. So.
I think you go to a Baptist church. That's a long close.
Thank you.
But thank you for your comments. We appreciate you all for being here. Thumbs up. See, I like y'all. Y'all listen today, yeah. Ms. Austin, I'm pretty sure you do have 40 seconds, but I hope you allow us to forego those 40 seconds. And I know that we have a very inquisitive body today. We're going to ask a series of questions. I'm assuming you're going to be up there longer than 40 seconds. So long story short, stay right there. I have a couple questions, and Councilman, get your questions ready for the applicant as well as potentially the opposition. I took some pretty detailed notes of some of the things that were said about opposition. One of the things I've heard repeatedly from the opposition is there is a concern or a belief that the zoning request is heavy industrial. Either planning and zoning, or Ms. Austin, could you speak to the belief that it's a heavy industrial zoning request? I don't care who tells me. I need to know. Somebody talk to me.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think I could better speak to that. Brett Ragsdale with the Division of Planning and Development. This is, as we talked about in committee, this is not a rezoning. This is a plan development which allows us to condition certain uses within a certain property, and that runs along with the property. This property is currently zoned EMP or employment, which is light industrial. So there are a lot of uses that can be done by right on this property. It's already zoned industrial. This plan development does have one aspect of it that was very close to whether it was considered light industrial or heavy industrial. That's a small electric sawmill. That was listed as a heavy industrial. So we worked with the applicant to allow them to apply for this PD. So this does not rezone the property at all. It does restrict many of the uses that are currently allowed by right in the employment or light industrial district.
So, Mr. Rags, I want to ask you a question because there was something said in committee that I think is imperative for the folks listening and the folks attending to understand. You mentioned that there is a gray area because you called it you referenced it as a sawmill here, but upstairs you said, well, it's not really a sawmill. I want to hear the explanation again, and not necessarily for me, but I think our job as elected officials to give as much information to people as possible.
Sure. And Director Zena, if you want to step in, you can certainly add to this. But,
I know he wants to step
in. I think that we're a good team. So
he's always so eager.
I'll say that. So one of the things in light industrial listed is a lumber yard, and that's mainly the sale of lumber. In heavy industrial is sawmill or pulp mill. That is a high industrial sawmill. That's what that's intended to be. This is a very small electric operation. That was the gray area that we were discussing, and we discussed very carefully about this, and we wanted to, be careful on how we make those decisions and those determinations. And so we decided that we would err on the side of requiring the PD, because what that allowed us to do is some of these uses that are much more intense, in our opinion, we're now restricting those so that they cannot be done on this property. And so it's a much better solution than, upzoning this and keeping it at the EMP and restricting all those uses that would be much more intense and unwanted.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ragsdale. There are some concerns around health and environmental concerns as it relates to pollution. I think there's a white sign. Hold up a little higher. It says, white sign that says protect our air, protect our health, vote no. Could you speak to those concerns? Ms. Austin.
Yeah, Rashawn Austin. President of the Works. I live at 377 Angela Street in the Evergreen community. So this is an environmentally friendly project. It is reestablishing trees, which help us all breathe, and it's the reuse of trees, keeping them out of the landfill. About 60% or more of our landfills today environmental races. Just 2,000 feet, linear feet next door to this development are examples of a 79-year-old chemical company and an 84-year-old company that still has gas canisters out. And I know the owners of both of those companies, gas canisters for welding supply. And so that's it 50 feet from properties along McLean. And so zoning has a history of racism. It absolutely does, and that's not what we're here to do. For 29 years, I've invested in vulnerable communities that look like me. And we are investing, why do we end up here? Because we're investing hundreds of millions in the Klondike neighborhood where the average annual income is $15,000. We don't just build houses, we don't just rebuild Northside. We like to provide jobs to people, but we'd also like to protect the environment and undo racist zoning that has torn our communities apart for decades.
So I have a question, and I may be slightly mistaken, but I believe that initially when this application was presented to planning and development, there was I think a different type of machine that's going to be used that you all took out of the project. Could you talk a little bit about that? And I think that may be more of, I don't say more, I think that was some of the hesitancy, the reluctance around this project, because I understand that machine would potentially raise more of these concerns that we see behind you. Could you talk about that machine and that impact?
When we initially talked to the Division of Planning and Development, it included an air curtained incinerator, and I think a lot of the opposition we got in phone calls, walk-ups to the property, letters, was in regards to that machine. We removed that from our ask today, and it is, as the department said, not a zoning change. It's an overlay that actually restricts us for better uses than we could do by right.
So there's one comment that I found particularly interesting. It was why, so I don't want to misquote the individual, so if I misquote you, charges in my mind, not to my heart, my apologies. Have you dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's, and then also talk about why haven't we heard from the health department related to this issue?
The way development work is a process, and so we went to the department prior to even submitting an application to talk to the division director and his staff over a year ago.
The next step is their staff advised us to apply for plan development. So we went through the plan development process. It then goes to the Land Use Control Board, the quasi-governmental board that's appointed by you all. They passed it, then it comes to the council. We can't get ahead in development and you ask for a permit if you don't have permit to do the development. And so the health department doesn't issue a permit before you get permission to do it.
All right, I think I asked enough questions. I think I'm almost tired of hearing myself talk today. I'm gonna go into the queue and Councilwoman Lisa Thomas, I know you're in the queue. I'm not sure if you want to speak last or you want to go ahead and speak now. So let me cut your mic on, go ahead. Oh.
All the way at the end, bringing up the rear. Thank you, Chair. As we discussed this item earlier, we were able to get a more in-depth view and get all our questions out as colleagues and city council and get a more understanding for what was actually happening already and then also planned to happen. But as we come down to the chambers, as we send down with no recommendation, and just to kind of reiterate what I've said earlier, sorry for being repetitive. But colleagues, just to explain why my vote is no, is kind of hard to explain what we all kind of talk about when we were on our election and campaign trails. How can you envision better for a community? How can people want better if everything looks the same? If the child, if the mother, if the grandmother is seeing the same remnants on the street as they have for decades, how can you even think to dream bigger and want bigger for your community and your neighborhood? And so this is not just about the vitality for North Memphis. Having an idea and a project that brings any amount of jobs, as it was said earlier, is a great idea. My emphasis is on the chosen location of where it would be more viable to have something vibrant and bustling and multidimensional that's so opportunistic for everyone, not just Klondike, where my maternal grandmother lives, not just Hyde Park, which my house is on the butt of, and not just Vecca, where my paternal family grew up. So being in different areas of North Memphis and also my district, I ran because I saw the issues that the council members before us and how they flooded Black and brown and disinvested and disengaged communities with anything that they could, no matter the intent. And so as I grow up, as my son, 1.5, grows up in this community, I don't want him 30 years to look back and say, I wonder what that corner could have been. I wonder what that corridor could have brought us. Kids in our schools, folks that are really needing as many opportunities as possible. The students in our schools, whether charter or district. However, Ms. Austin and the works in Urbanwood, I'm not in favor of the location because I think we can do better. And we've shown that we can do better with our efforts because just down the street, you have Northside. Just down the street, the other way, we're looking at trying to transform another lot, but not to build a warehouse, but to actually have some more opportunities and vitality and aesthetic pleasing factors for the community. And so being as someone who lives there and also with neighbors on both sides of this issue as I look out in the crowd, we're thinking about what's best for the future for long term. Zoning is an issue. Environmental racism is an issue. There is no reason you should be able to drive up and down Chelsea, Ms. Pipkin, and see a home, a car wash, a church, a warehouse, an industrial building all along the same steps. So that's something that we as a council and we as a city and we as zoning, Director Zena, need to put our heads together and see how can we undo what the council folks sitting in these seats in these chambers, all the ones up on the walls that don't look like us, did to our communities. I don't want to follow in those footsteps. Short term, it sounds great. It is not. It was said earlier that we're trying to lift the burden of the city's weights. That's not North Memphis's role. That's not our job. We're not here to lift the burden of any city's anything. We as council people are here to lift the burden of our constituents. And adding to something that is not a part of a greater vision shouldn't be a part of that plan. And so, council members, as I asked you earlier, as we're thinking about all of our districts in the places that we represent, wanting better and bigger, and also finding the best location. There are so many places in my district that are dilapidated and waiting and old, of just old industry warehouses that folks thought on those walls, who don't look like me and my neighbors, a lot of us, who thought it was a good idea. And now we're stuck. And some of y'all's other districts are also stuck in some places. So when we think about what's bigger and better for Memphis and our communities, we have to consider everyone. And sometimes those decisions aren't that popular in the beginning, but it would allow us to think more and more freely about what could be to come in all areas of our neighborhood. And colleagues, that's where my vote is coming from. Thank you, Chair.
I thought y'all liked me a little bit. Come on, there we go, thumbs up. All right, we're on the same page. There we go. Make me feel a little bit better. All right, thank you, Councilwoman Issa Thomas, for those remarks and insight. I'm going to go to Councilman Warren, then Councilman Carlisle. I'm going to make a comment, then I'm going to make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I really like to talk more about beyond Northside. And so our partnership is the largest single landowner in the Klondike neighborhood, and this property was available on a tax sale. It was delinquent in taxes about 10 years, and we paid over $200,000, and it abuts our work in Klondike, where we're making several hundred million in investment outside of Northside in single-family residential, for home ownership, for fixed affordable rental for 89 years along the Jackson Avenue commercial corridor. But part of that work is not just about housing development. We want to do a comprehensive redevelopment of the area. So we want to spill over into the other areas in North Memphis that have not had investment, like Hyde Park and New Chicago, that abut this area too. And so that's why we chose that lot. It was available. It's next door to Klondike. It sits in Hyde Park. It's north of Vecca and east of New Chicago. And so that's why that lot, to provide jobs and to improve it. It also had a lot of environmental hazard, which we removed about 200 cubic liters of trash from the creek.
Now, on the ground there, I understand that there's a specific type of ground that you've got. It's like very thick concrete that is capable of handling your equipment. Is that another reason that you chose that site?
Yeah, but the main reason is its location, and it was delinquent in taxes, and so we put it back on the tax
The
roll.
location has nothing to do with the ease of transportation in and out?
It does have something to do with the ease of transportation. It fit a lot of things. So it was where it was located, it was vacant and abandoned for decades. We put it back into performance. It's near Chelsea and the interstate, because that's where any traffic will go. Our partner is in New Chicago, the actual sawmill, Classic American. There are a lot of reasons. It was an environmental contaminated site. There is still probably some contamination that we're removing. It was the most recent use was an electronic recycling place, and it was just left there. There were thousands of tires that we removed from the site. And we also are working with Caesar Institute and others to protect the aquifer. So it's very important that we look at contamination along the creek.
Frank, get together with me. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I could, I think we've heard really good presentations from both sides of this issue. And we have an expert who just went off of our council that's good at mediating. I'd like to move. Can we use him as a mediator? Is that legal? A mediator? Okay, thank you. I withdraw that motion.
Okay, the motion is withdrawn. Councilman Carlisle, and then we're going to Councilwoman Cooper Sutton, and then I'm going to act like there's no one else in this queue, and we're going to go ahead and make a decision, all right? So Councilman Carlisle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry, I'm processing a lot there. We talked a lot upstairs, and I'm learning a lot about this process. It's something that was done in 4 or 5 other places around the country. And what's before us, and it has nothing to do with the air incinerator, it's literally the disposition of lumber and then transporting it to another facility to be treated and processed and presented. And that's what's happening here. So I won't rehash all the questions that we discussed upstairs from the scientific expert, from where the property's been and where the property's going. But I will ask a couple questions about development, right? So, Ms. Austin, you've been in the CDC for 29 years serving community development. Sorry, I'm having a struggle there with Frank comment. You've been in community development for 29 years. Before that, you were a mortgage banker. So it would be safe to say that you're very familiar with development, financeability, and highest and best use and what is actually doable, right? Would that be fair? If you could build a mixed income or mixed use development for this neighborhood and make it work and financeable and make it successful, would you do that over this biomass?
On this corner?
Yeah, if you could, if it was financeable, if it was actually feasible to do it, would that be something you would look at doing?
Today, not across from Kilowatt Lake or next to Buckman, no.
But I guess the point that I'm driving at is, could you even get the financing to do it?
No.
Right. So could you get the financing for office? Could you get the financing for hospitality, for hotels?
No.
Could you get the equity or financing for apartments?
No.
So, but for this opportunity as the owner of the property, what is feasible there that is bigger, greater vision today, the next 5-10 years, that's going to turn around underwriters and bankers and equity to come in and finance that?
I don't even know how to answer that because so much has to happen across the street and next door, including the property that's just to the east of it, which has burnt-out buildings and tires. I don't know what could be financed.
To that
None
point,
of those things could be financed today.
Yeah, so none of those are financeable, meaning they cannot be built. Who is the most active developer in the area?
We are.
Right. So would you say that this is accretive today to the neighborhood as you guys continue to raise property values, which would then incentivize further investment? Would you say that this is the highest and best use today for this property?
Yes.
So as the neighborhood continues to appreciate and you and other developers continue to make investments in the neighborhood, is it feasible that in 15, 20, 30 years that those opportunities could come?
Yes.
But we have to start somewhere, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Those are all my questions.
Thank you, Councilman Carlisle, Councilwoman Cooper Sutton, then Councilwoman White, and then Councilwoman Lisa Thomas. The second time, I'm gonna stop comments here after Councilwoman Lisa Thomas. Council, let me get your mic on. My apologies, 1 second.
Thank you, Chairman. My question, my comment is, one of the young women got up and said that she could not, her mother and some more elderly people could not be here during this time. And they talked about repairs for their homes. They talked about roofing falling in their homes. They talked about she literally almost cried. I think she did. After you and your company, because I don't have anything, I love green. I agree with that. And what you're doing is phenomenal. You are a phenomenal businesswoman. But the thing is this, what about them? What about their houses and their homes not being invested? They're caving in. I rode down this morning just to check it out to see. I haven't had a tour, but I rode down the community and just to see the houses in the community. And when she said that, that really makes a statement, and I echo what my colleague said, Councilwoman Eastern Thomas. But how can we invest? How can you turn this into an investment, giving it back to the community?
So I don't have, unfortunately, unlimited funds. So the city of Memphis, outside of this district, has a 30% or so poverty rate, and particularly for people who look like me. We're very oversubscribed to minor home. Most of our projects have debt, so we're paying that back to some bank or some other non-depository institution. And so our organization has probably close to $20 million in debt, reinvesting in vulnerable communities. And so, you know, I take exception to people labeling us as do it.
Thank you. I yield the floor, Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you for your questions, your input. Councilwoman, I'm gonna go to Councilwoman White. Are you ready? All right, someone get a mic on.
I just recalled earlier, and I can't remember the gentleman that said it. It was something about some trees and noise. Is there some concern that this facility will cause some type of noise issues?
I think there is. There was expressed, and we sent a video, which we shared the fact sheet, that shows that intersection and the sound. And so trees buffer the sound. We've already planted 50 trees along the site. And we don't use gas equipment, it's solar and electric. And so when you're standing at the corner, and I think Councilwoman Green was there, you hear the car traffic at Chelsea and Watkins.
So not from the facility?
No, you can't even really hear each other talking because of the car traffic on the intersection.
That's what I was trying to get an understanding of. And then I think this came out earlier in committee, and I don't know if I missed it here today. How long has that particular lot been vacant?
That lot has been vacant for decades. The last use was a electronic recycling company, and they just left the waste there. It was vacant. I mean, it was behind on property taxes 10 years, but it was vacant prior to that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman White. Councilwoman Nisha Thomas, I'm gonna make a few comments after Councilwoman Nisha Thomas. Councilwoman Nisha Thomas, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Chair, for letting me speak again. And I wasn't going to, but the additional comments and questions on essentially what North Memphis is worth. What investment is worthy, what people are worth in certain neighborhoods, I just think about, is that the same type of conversation that has us in the place we are now? How many times has it been said, is this the best use? Who determines best? Have we talked to the community about that? We did 3.0 for the entire city. Now it has its in and outs, but a lot of that is visionary. And so if you're asking someone that has been in an area for decades that may not has the means or the knowledge to get to an actual project or development, and then have someone to say, well, that's the best use we have for you. But in my district, there are multitudes of different communities and pockets. Having, as y'all know, and some of y'all are the same way, having downtown and North Memphis and Fraser, I see it all. From the best of the best to this is the best we're gonna give you. And so us as government, sometimes we step in and help out, and we saw through some of our first terms in COVID, sometimes we step in and we help out where people say the impossible is present. There would have been, we had an update on budget today on 36 things that we stepped in and tried to make possible in probable areas where, once again, I look at these faces on the wall every council meeting, probably said, oh, that's the best use for you. I'm tired of folks who don't live in the area saying what's the best use for me and other neighbors who live in the area. Now, Urbanwood in the Works, y'all are doing phenomenal stuff across the city. But this idea just doesn't fit. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we don't think big enough. And that's okay, because us as a city, as council people, we're supposed to work alongside and with and support our neighbors and colleagues in the dreams and the visions that they have. And to just sit here and just listen to just those few back and forths, it made me feel a little less worthy sitting right here. Me and my family being from North Memphis, mother still in Fraser, folks all around there, the folks I look at. Yes, we know it's hard to get people to invest in Black and brown communities and disinvest it. We see it all across the city. We know that. And we say thank you to the people that do. But give us your best investment. Give us the best of what you are worth. What would you want in front, side, back of your house, where you want your kids walking across from? As I mentioned earlier, I don't want Tripp seeing the same stuff that I saw and that my father saw in Valentine Evergreen, which is different from Evergreen if folks didn't know. Okay. So thank you, Chair, for letting me say that, speak again, but it just hurt me to hear remnants of a conversation that could have been the conversations that got us and South Memphis and Orange Mound, and as we go across the city in the same place that we're in now. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Nisha Thomas. Thank each of you all for being present today. I often tell people I think government works best when we have active participation from the people, and also a very engaged council. I think, I received a text message from one of my friends who was here in opposition. She brought up a very good point, and I think I have an issue with this. So I'm gonna tell you my issue, and then I'm gonna make a motion. I hope my colleagues support the motion. There were notices mailed to 46 community members. I'm pretty sure I can count out here about 46 people here, and I know that there's many other people who would consider this particular area their backyard. So the notice was mailed on the 26th, the meeting was on the 30th. What I would like to see happen is another community meeting. I think what I wholeheartedly hope to happen is that people have true conversation. Our community is made up of citizens, but it's also made up of good meaning people who are trying to figure out what is the best use for a particular project. I haven't heard anyone here object to the fact that the property stayed vacant for quite some time. No one objected to that. I haven't heard anyone here say anything specifically about another developer coming in and doing something else with a particular piece of property. What I would like to see is another community meeting. I'm going to be present. I hope each person who represents this community shows up and listens. I think that's what you asked us to do, is to be open to listen. This is the first time but I think it's also necessary when we're talking about, you mentioned, racism and zoning. We mentioned racism and zoning, so I think we just have to get more people involved. Some of the adjacent communities, whether we're going door to door, letting them know, Klondike, New Chicago, Chelsea, and Becca. Let's let people know what's happening, and we're going to attend the community meeting. I have a motion.
You got to entertain a motion.
I entertain a motion to hold this item to March 5th, 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I move to hold that item till March 5th.
Moved by Carlisle, seconded by the council on my right, Ms. White, Councilwoman Sutton, Cooper Sutton, and Councilman Espinoza. Madam Comptroller, could you prepare the screens?
Thank you.
All right. Electronically moved by someone. Someone move it electronically. All right.
Kennelly, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Easter Thomas, no. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Walker, yes. White, yes. Chairman Smiley, yes. Please show Councilmember Warren is voting yes.
The motion to hold this item to March 5th passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 4. Excuse me, there's still a meeting going. As you exit, could you please leave? As quietly as possible. Madam Comptroller, could you please call item number 4?
Item number 4 is a resolution.
Please leave quietly. Councilman Kennelly, you're recognized. Hold on your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was heard in committee. was sent down without a recommendation, but I would like to turn it over to Councilwoman Logan, who's been involved in this case, about some amendments that have been made. And then, colleagues, I think we'll be prepared to vote after Councilwoman Logan speaks. And if you have any questions for DPD or the applicant, they are on hand for questions.
Is this on? I can't. Am I good? Mic check. Okay. Yes, I appreciate the opportunity, colleagues, that you all gave in holding this. We were able to have another community meeting, and I want to allow Mr. Ragsdale and Director Zena to give more information regarding it on the exceptions and revisions that are in place now.
Yes, thank you, Councilwoman Logan. Brett Ragsdale with the Division of Planning and Development. I've got on the screen here the amendments that we discussed to the current conditions. One of the items of concern was the list of uses permitted and restricting additional uses. And so we have here a list of additional uses, Q through V, that were mentioned at the last council meeting. And so we've listed those. And then we discussed right before this meeting a couple of other items which are related to the traffic study and the morning sun access. And so we've got a condition we're adding to 2C would be, I'm sorry, that's actually going to be I was trying to do this on the fly here so we could get it noted, but this will actually just be an addition to the end of 3A. And it would continue on to say the resulting improvement, so dedicate 34 feet from center line of Morning Sun Road and approve in accordance with subdivision regulations. The resulting improvement shall ensure east and west movement from northbound Morning Sun Road. And then we're adding to 3G another condition. A trip generation report shall be provided in conformance with the City of Memphis engineering standards. If a traffic signal is required, it shall be provided at the developer's expense.
The G, the trip generation, is that the same as the traffic assessment, the assessment that is spoken of in
the meeting? Can we please close those doors? We can't hear in here.
Yeah, thank you, Councilwoman Logan. Just speaking with Director Bellin, we will add a traffic study and trip generation report, just to make it clear that both of those will be provided. So
okay, so that is traffic study and trip assessment prior to the finalization of the plat, right?
They will be done, correct. Okay. These are done prior to that, and city engineer.
And so that says if the findings are such that a traffic light is needed, the developer has agreed to put that there. Okay.
Correct.
Those were the concerns of the community. And now, could you clarify what the new 3A, I guess AB, the new addition to A under 3? When you say the resulting improvement shall ensure east and west movement, what does that mean?
Correct. So I know we were talking about they are dedicating the 34 feet, and right now, without the traffic study and trip generation report, we don't know exactly what the best approach is to use that 34 feet. And so we wanted to have something in there that talked about, because I know that your concern is the leftbound or the westbound, and correct, the westbound. And so we want to give some flexibility to engineering to be able to use that 34 feet as they see fit with the traffic study and trip generation report. But we want to add something here that clearly showed what our intention was.
Okay, and the last thing was the drainage issue.
And we do have those conditioned. So our standard conditions for city engineering, so they will have to provide detailed drawings and design for city engineering review for drainage detention and to take care of that on site. That's included in conditions number 5, or V.
And that would be before the approval of the final plat?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I yield back, Chair. Those were the concerns of the community, and they seem to have addressed them in the revisions.
Mr. Chairman, if that satisfies Councilwoman Logan, I think that we're prepared to vote. I think it's worth noting that Land Use and DPD approved this with the amendments and with the conditions. So I think at this time we're ready to vote.
Councilman Kelly, can we make sure that's as amended, please?
As amended.
Thank you.
It's been moved by Councilman Vice Chair Canale as amended, seconded by Councilwoman Green. Madam Comptroller, can you please prepare the screen?
Council members, cast your vote for this item. Canale, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Please show Council member Swearingen Washington as voting yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chair Smiley, yes.
This item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call the consent agenda for items 2, 5, and 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 2 is a resolution approving an honorary street name change on East Shelby Drive from Lamar Avenue to Mendenhall Road for Bishop Clinton Charles Bryant, District 3, Super District 8. This resolution is sponsored by Chairman Smiley. Item number 5 is up for second reading. Ordinance number 5896 is sponsored by Chairman Smiley Jr. Item number 6 is a notation from the Land Use Control Board that the following case was heard and recommendation made requesting a date of public hearing for case number ASUP 23-26, a towing service without an impound lot. The date of this hearing requested is February 20th, 2024. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes our consent agenda items.
All right, we have a comment card from Mary Alice Clay. Are you here?
No. We also don't call it.
All right, Ms. Clay. Madam Comptroller, could you please prepare the screen for a vote? Moved by Councilman Carlisle, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Madam Comptroller. Consent agenda.
Canale, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chair Smiley, yes.
This item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 13 is an appointment to the Memphis Area Transit Authority, Courtney A. McNeil, and there is a request for same night minutes.
Councilman Canale, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was heard in committee, received a favorable recommendation. I move with same night minutes.
Moved by Vice Chair Canale, seconded by
Anybody?
Councilwoman Swearingen Washington.
Anybody interested?
Madam Controller, could you please prepare the screen for a vote? Thank you.
Canali, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Green, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chair Smiley, yes. I have some additional council members for this item. Show Councilmember Ford is voting yes. Councilman Carlisle is voting yes. Councilmember Logan is voting yes. And Councilmember Spinoza is voting yes.
This item passes. Madam Controller, please call item number 14.
Item number 14 is an appointment to the Memphis Board of Ethics. Demetrius Q. Halliburton and Scott E. McCormick, and there's a request for same night minutes.
Council. McAnally.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was heard in committee, received a favorable recommendation. With that, I move it to the floor with same night minutes.
Moved by Canali, seconded by
Board, Vincent S. Sawyer, and there is a request for same night minutes.
Councilman Canali, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was heard in committee, received a favorable recommendation. With that, I move it to the floor with same night minutes.
Moved by Councilman Canali, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Madam Controller, please prepare the screen for a vote.
Canali, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Ford Senior, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chairman Smiley, yes.
This item passes. Madam Controller, please call item number 16.
Item number 16 is an appointment to the Pension Board of Administration, Maury C. Albertson, and there's also a request for same night minutes.
Councilman Canali, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was heard in committee, received a favorable recommendation. With that, I move it to the floor with same night minutes.
All right, moved by Vice Chairman Canali, seconded by Councilwoman Walker. Appears all hearts and minds clear. Madam Controller, please prepare the screen for a vote.
Canali, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes.
I got him.
Ford Senior, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes.
Yep.
White,
Against.
yes. Chairman Smiley, yes.
This item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 7. I believe this item will sit down with no recommendation.
Yes, that's correct, Chairman.
All right. So moved by There we go. And seconded. So moved by White, seconded by Warren. I know we're going to give Director Connect an opportunity unless the mayor would like to speak prior. Mayor Young, so good to have you with us.
Council members, thank you for having us today, and we honor our relationship and appreciate all that we've started to build to move this city forward. Obviously, this is the last appointment for a while until we come back on the ones that we've done as interim. But I'd like to ask for your approval. As I mentioned in our last meeting, I am in a position right now where I am trying to get a handle on all the things that are happening within an organization with 6,700 employees. And there are a lot of major things that are underway. And one of the things that I am really working hard to do is move as quickly as possible. We have a very strong team. I think Robert has demonstrated his leadership over and over, most recently during the storm. And he's someone that I believe is going to be up to the task. And just like I've said with all of the other appointments, if they are not up to the task, then we'll handle it. But right now, it's incumbent upon me and all of our team to move as quickly as possible. And so I'd like to ask for your support on this appointment, and I'll leave it to you.
All right, Director Connect, talk to us. The floor is yours.
I want to thank the mayor for his support. I have had a great opportunity to meet with each one of you and talk. I hope we have, come to an understanding that, I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve the citizens of Memphis. I think I have a great track record, and I look forward to delivering on those promises and those commitments that was outlined in my plan for the vision of the division. I know many of us have high expectations in what we tend to do and what we tend to deliver on, and I hope to be held accountable for that. So I do appreciate that. I look forward to working with each and every one of you, and I hope that you give me that opportunity.
We have a couple of council members in the queue. Thank you for those remarks. Mayor, thank you for the remarks. Director Connect. We'll go with Vice Chairman Canale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, this is my 7th year on this body.
You've been here a long time.
I've been here a really long time, longest except for my dear friend. But I've always appreciated his devotion to his job, his love for his job. He wants to be here, colleagues. He could probably go and do something else, but he wants to be here, and he wants to serve the city of Memphis. I wholeheartedly support him, and I would like to move his appointment in the affirmative with same night minutes.
I'm not gonna entertain that motion just yet. We have some council members in here. We're gonna show respect and deference to all the council members, but we can hold that motion for a second. Go back. But that's fierce advocacy by Vice Chairman Canale. Councilman Carlisle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'll try and be brief. I know brevity's not either one of our
About as brief as I am.
Either one of our strong suits. Yeah, look, Director Connect, I actually met him the first time when we were looking at the Chiska project, and there was a main 20 feet in the ground that wasn't on a city plan because it was so old. And he came out on site as deputy director at the time and worked through the issues. And that's just one piece of what Public Works does. It's probably one of the most encompassing divisions in the city. 2 utilities, code enforcement, illegal blight. They've got to go over and go to environmental court, to city court. It's a lot of moving pieces, and it takes a lot of institutional knowledge to effectively run that group. And I don't know how many people want to sit around and talk about is it biomass, bio waste. Getting projects that are in like the consent decree that take 30 years to put into place. You need somebody that's a steady hand that understands that role. And you do that. And then understandably so, we've had a lot of discussions where the body has chastise, disagreed with, tried to say, how do we work on these issues where understandably people have felt frustrated by it, like code enforcement and illegal tire dumping and blight. But every time that I've gone to Director Connect, it's continuing to work on solutions. Like, we got the door slammed in our face after 4.5 years, and it's not necessarily done, but trying to look at a rental registry, and Robert just got up the next day and went back to work and started looking for the next thing and the next thing or the next avenue. And it takes that kind of dedication to a job that a lot of people could see monotonous, that he sees as a joy to come to work every day. I mean, we haven't even talked about, I understand potholes are a big thing the city looks at, and we talk about the money issue, but Director Connect can't hire anybody else at the asphalt plant, and we can't force contractors to pave faster. But in his time under Mayor Strickland, they took the paving cycle from 30, 40 years to 20 years. Those are massive undertakings that correct a lot of issues that have been there well before his time. And I'll wrap up by just saying, I think as a council, the things that we often can get frustrated with that are in the public works purview are not necessarily 100% under his control. We've spent hours talking about the process of how to demolish a house that's blighted, that's on private property, why they can't go out and cut grass, why problem, and we can only afford to hire 5, but here's how we're going to make 5 look like 15. Expanding the authorities back to the DMC downtown, other options on the table. And so I think it would be short-sighted to make a change in this position with all that we want to accomplish in the near term based on the institutional knowledge it takes. And so I'll be supporting Director Connect. I hope my colleagues will. And so I appreciate your partnership. That I yield the floor.
That was good. Not that long. All right. Councilwoman Green, the floor is yours. Your mic. There we go.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I am just here to thank both Director Connect and Mayor Young. I know that during your committee appointment discussion, I mentioned something to you, and your team immediately took it up, and that was picking up our own trash downtown. And not only did you do that and take away 2 loads of cones and barriers and things like that and put them back in storage where they belong, but then the following Monday, you went and walked the streets with me again and said, what else can we do? And we talked about code issues. We talked about issues that weren't yours. Maybe those barriers are MPDs. Maybe they're MLDW. You stopped and texted people right then, took pictures and said, hey, we've got to get on top of this. What's the answer here? And on top of that, I've sent you more than a few requests from my constituents in my short term here about litter pickup and things like that, and you've gotten on top of every single one. And I am just grateful to have somebody who is responsive to my constituents' needs and to my vision for a better, safer, cleaner Memphis. I think you share that vision, and so I'm excited to continue to work with you. I hope not to continue to harass you, but we are wanting to do what our constituents are asking of us, and you have really stepped up in my eyes in that way, and so I'll be supporting your appointment today.
Thank you. Sounds like 3 positive votes. All right, Councilwoman Walker, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Director Connect, I've enjoyed talking with you, and I know that your department handles a lot of things, but I'm particularly impressed by your green initiatives and your green vision. Hearing about the gray water and the solar, where we are right now in this society, in this country, in this world as it relates to climate change, I think that you are spot on. And I just appreciate you having a vision that incorporates these green initiatives, because that's what we need. And I'm just looking forward to you being able to manifest these things. And I hope that and as a body, we can support you in that aspect. I know that we could be a model for Tennessee as well as the country. And I thank you for your work thus far, and keep up the green work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Walker. Councilwoman Cooper Sutton.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mayor Young and Director Connect. We have connected very well, and I want to thank you. I sent you a text that I was praying for you as I was praying for everyone else, because I felt your heart and your sincereness really wanted this position to stay here and to be reappointed. Thank you for answering every text message I sent you from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. Thank you for answering them. Thank you for being on spot. Thank you for the meeting that you and I had. And I can't wait for our ideas that we talked about to manifest itself for the betterment of this city and for the community. So thank you for being on spot and responding to all my potholes concerns. Oh my God, thank you. And TDOT, thank you for even getting them to do what they said was impossible. You made sure that it happened. So thank you for that. And I look forward for you to keep that same energy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You say keep that same energy?
Yeah.
Hey.
You got your potholes repaired?
Yeah, not one pothole, but over 30-something potholes prepared.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna have some decorum. All right, Councilwoman Logan, you're in the queue.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to lend my support to Director Connect. I appreciate the fact that you know and appreciate good talent. You have a very good team. The ones that I've worked with, I haven't worked with everybody, but Ms. Neal and Joy and the rest of them, everybody, especially all the code enforcement people. And I hate to even start calling names, Mr. Fisher and everybody, but the whole entire team, especially the ones that worked on the Blight Task Force, and you were there with them, and you allowed them. Some leaders could have been intimidated, but you allowed them to speak their mind and to share their ideas. Now I don't know what y'all did when you got back to the office, but during the meetings, it was great dialogue, and it brought forth some great legislation. So I do appreciate the fact that you were not intimidated by that process, and understand the fact that we need to continue to grow as leaders and continue to do that by listening to those that work with us every day. So I do appreciate that. And if you can maintain that and continue that moving forward in that vein, I think we will really make some leeway in your department, because you have a great team. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I look forward to you under Mayor Young and what you all are going to do together.
Thank you so much.
I think Councilwoman Logan said she's looking forward to new you. All right. Councilman Ford, you're in the queue, sir. Hold up, let me get your mic together.
Thank you very much. I wasn't going to say nothing. But I got to. You just keep up the good work that you're doing. Don't nobody want your job. I mean, let's be for real now. I mean, hey, didn't nobody want to say that, but you know, anything might come out my mouth. So, don't nobody want your job, because can't nobody do your job. There's a lot of directors that we got. Don't nobody want their job either. Okay? But just keep up the good work. One thing that I want you to do, and I hope you listen, environmental court. Judge over there. Okay? I hope you're listening. Okay? Stay on them, because maybe you can get a lot more done. Because your job, you have to go through this one in order to get some of these things done. And they do not cooperate, okay? But you got a council here. When they don't cooperate, you come let us know. And we're going to help you out this time, okay?
Thank you.
Good enough. And I'm finished.
Thank you, sir.
I have two more people in the queue. Okay, all right. Councilwoman Swearingen, Washington. Thank you, Councilman Canale, for letting me see this. And then Councilwoman Nisha Thomas also would like to know I have some comment cards, and we're going to go to those comment cards before we take a vote.
Thank you.
Hold up, let's get your mic on. Councilwoman Swearingen,
Thank you,
Washington.
Chair. I'm excited about all the comments and the conversations that we've had. My question and my plea is, will there be consistency?
Yes, ma'am.
This same momentum that you've had these past couple of weeks since the last council meeting, will there be consistency throughout the year of you responding and a call to action for our communities?
Yes, ma'am.
We have your word on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, Councilwoman Swearingen, Washington, thank you for those comments and the question. Councilwoman Easter Thomas from District 7.
Chair, I am the representative for District 7. Thank you. Director Connect, kind of echoing a lot of the sentiments that my colleagues have said. For me, you've been super responsive. And as you know, we have a lot of work to do in the district. I look forward to looking more at the rental registry, the short-term rental registry, and how we can really remediate as much blight as possible so that we can improve our options, our opportunities, attract great developments. And I see that as blight being a part of that puzzle. So if we can clean stuff up and then we can see what's there, I think that you'd be a great partner into doing that. And I know we have to do that for everyone, but I look forward into the creative thinking on how we can get it done a little faster, a little better, and of course, economically savvy as well. So I look forward to supporting your reappointment.
Thank you, Councilwoman Easter Thomas. And Director Connect, I think you must have some spare change or some dollars in your pocket, because I'm almost certain you paid these people to come hold those signs up. Okay, I mean, there we go.
Yeah, thank my staff. They are come out on their own fruition, but I really appreciate their support.
So if I see some, so if I see some bonuses, I know what happened. All right, okay. All right, let me. Okay, Ms. Hyman, who is the COO of our office, is telling me to get my act together, so let me get back on. All right, okay. All right, we have a couple of comment cards, and we're gonna go to the comment cards. In this order, Mr. Ortiz, Ms. Patterson, and then Mr. Brogos. So, Ms. Ortiz, make your way, put 2 minutes on the clock, name and address for the record. Mr. Ortiz, are you here? All right. Okay. All right, and then can we get 2 minutes on the clock?
Hello, everyone. My name is Valentina. I work for the city of Memphis. This is Jesus, but he needs a translator.
Okay.
I can do the translation unless you have somebody else that...
You got it. My Spanish is a little rusty.
My name is Jesus Ortiz, 3726 Durand Drive, Memphis, Tennessee, 38118. Soy capellán.
3726 Durand Drive, number 1. His name is Jesus Ortiz. ¿Cuál es el código postal? 38118.
Quisiera comentar que uno de los pilares más difíciles y más complicados de una administración es servicios públicos. Contar con una persona responsable no es una tarea fácil.
I would like to just say that being a director for public works is not an easy task. And to count on somebody to do public works.
Considero que servicios públicos es una de las piedras más duras que tiene un alcalde para una administración pública.
One of the most important divisions in city government is public works, and the hardest rock there is.
Pero conocer a alguien como Robert, con la trayectoria que tiene y con las cosas que ha hecho, yo quisiera agradecerle a él por todas las cosas que ha hecho por los hispanos, por sobre todo romper barreras y hacer su trabajo muy bien. También hace el trabajo que tiene el respaldo del alcalde.
Oh my goodness. But I want to thank Robert Connect for all the work that he does and how he helps out the Hispanic community. He is breaking barriers. He is connecting us to city government. So I just would like to thank him.
Quisiera agradecerle por el trabajo que estos últimos años ha hecho, más en las temporadas de frío, a donde el hielo ha puesto en jaque a la ciudad, pero él ha sacado el trabajo excelentemente.
And I want to thank him especially during the winter weather that he was out there working, helping us out. So I want to thank him for the excellent job.
Vengo aquí ante ustedes a invitarlos a que no lo dejen ir, porque una persona como él vale oro. Una persona con su trayectoria y teniendo el apoyo del alcalde, creo que no hay mejor apoyo que el alcalde esté pidiendo, y yo mismo personalmente le digo que apoyen, que siga otra administración.
So I'm here asking you today to please do not let go this diamond that you have, Director Connect. He has the mayor's approval, and I'm also begging you to keep him because he also has my approval as a citizen.
Y por último, quiero agradecer porque el año pasado tuvimos un taller de servicios públicos a donde nos enseñó todo lo que hay que saber de servicios públicos y para poder tener acceso a ellos. Muchas gracias, muchas gracias.
Lastly, I want to thank him for having a Public Works Citizen Academy that taught us everything about public works and how to get those services. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gracias, gracias porque ha roto la barrera del idioma.
Thank you for breaking the language barrier.
I think I'm gonna hit this
Thank
gavel.
you.
I think I'm gonna break this gavel until somebody gives me some thumbs up, some thumbs down. All right, there we go. Thank you all. Ms. Patterson. Now, tell me, I think Director Connect told you to come.
Yeah.
I already know,
No. My name is Rakina Patterson. I live at 2201 Rocky Stream Drive. And I'm just here to speak about Public Works because I know at the last meeting he was kind of judged on grass and trash. But we have 21 departments, and I would just like the council to come and visit all 21 departments. We have Public Works Admin, Neighborhood Improvement Admin, Environmental Admin, Code Enforcement, Ground Services, City Beautiful, Environmental Enforcement, Street Maintenance, Right-of-Way Maintenance, Drain Maintenance, Heavy Equipment, Fleet Services, Sweeper Department, Environmental Inspection, Environmental Maintenance, Pre-treatment and industrial monitoring, stormwater, TM Maxim treatment plant, MC Styles treatment plant, lift station, and flood control. So that's a big department to run. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We have one more coming card, Mr. Brogos. I'm pretty sure I butchered the name. Don't blame me, blame Brooke Hyman.
All right.
Floor is yours. 2 minutes on the clock.
Thank you. My name is John Bukorgis. And I definitely don't want to come up here and rain on his man's parade because I can tell you, I'm sure he did a wonderful job and he's done a wonderful job. It's a tough job, but on one day he didn't do the right job. In 2017, I tried to do a development here. I followed y'all's plan, went through Grace Creek plan. I followed everything, joint resolutions. I got the right to be in the sewer. I've talked to the city people of the sewer, but when that was in 2017, I had a letter of intent from D.R. Horton to build 225 homes with $18 million letter of intent. And I was denied access to sewer by Mr. Connect. I think on that one day, he kind of slipped. And since that time, it's on the Grace Creek sewer. This was in 2017. Let me read the letter that he wrote to me. I mean, he was very cordial. We met. I just think he made a mistake that day and made a wrong error on why he didn't allow sewer. He says, at our meeting on Monday, October 1st, 2018, we discussed sewer service to that parcel, which is adjacent to Countryway Farms subdivision. The sewer in Countryway Farms and Schaefer Drive was installed to the subdivision because of failing lift stations. Now, I know enough to know about the system. The city of Memphis did not get spend 2 years getting easements from 21 properties to go all the way down there, spend $7 million to fix 2 sewer stations. Since I've been denied that access, I lost a lot of money. 5 people have been in that sewer ever since that on Grace Creek a little further down. when I looked a little further into it, it stuck out at me. The manhole I was wanting to get into, which was 25 feet from my property, is 25 feet from Robert Connect's home. So I think he should excuse himself that day. So, you know, and I have a chance to tell it, because I never get a chance to tell it.
All right, thank you for your public comment. You're out of time. You did mention some potential legal implications. I'm going to ask the city attorney to kind of respond to the extent that she can, and then we're going to take a vote on this item.
May I, Councilman Smiley?
Absolutely. I asked you to come talk to us.
Oh, did you? I apologize.
It's all good.
Chairman, I was talking to Councilman Connect. Tanera Gibson, Chief Legal Officer for the City of Memphis. I understand that Mr. Gregorgos exercised his right as a citizen of Memphis to make a comment. His comment relates directly to act.
Attorney Gibson. Councilman Spinoza, you're in the queue. Can we get this mic on? There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First time to speak today. I had to make sure the mic was on. And yeah, if I didn't speak, I was going to be one of only 2 council members that didn't speak on Director Connect, so I felt kind of left out. Mr. Mayor, I just want to say thank you for the appointment, Mr. Connect and Robert. Congrats. And I'll second the motion. Let's vote on Robert.
How you end it with just
Thanks.
It appears that all hearts and minds are clear.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion that we approve with same night minutes.
Can you get a second, anybody? Any opposed? All right, by acclamation, same night minutes. Ms. Hyman, if I'm messing it up, blame Mr. Isom. Could you prepare the screen? Madam Controller, can you prepare the screen?
push the motion, Connect. Oh.
It's already moved and seconded. Seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Yes.
Canali, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chairman Smiley, yes.
Thank you very much. I think our COO is going to have to buy me a new gavel at some point. But thank you all for respecting these chambers. And please exit as quietly and as expeditiously as possible. Madam Comptroller, please call item 12.
Thank you, Chairman Smiley. Item number 12 is a resolution to amend the City of Memphis Utility Assistance Program. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the MLGW Division.
Ms. Spinoza, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Council Net. And yeah, we're going to approve this, I believe. Thank you. Motion to approve.
Moved by Spinoza, Seconded by Councilman Carlisle. Madam Comptroller, could you please prepare the screen for votes?
There you go. Is that our last item? I hope so. Was that our last item? Was that our last item? I don't want to hear about the sewer. Whether or not we're gonna do this.
Canali, yes. Carlisle, yes. Cooper Sutton, yes. Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chairman Smiley, yes.
This item passes. And I just want to tell Councilman Spinoza he did a great job today.
Thank you.
That brings us to our same 9-minute items. Vice Chairman Canali, would you please read the same 9-minute item into the record?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The same 9-minute items are 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, and 16. With that, I so move.
Okay. Thank you. It's moved by Vice Chairman Canali, seconded by who? Seconded by Councilman Carlisle. Madam Comptroller, could you please prepare the screen for a vote?
See what. So it doesn't matter.
Here we go, guys. Canali, yes. Carlisle, yes. Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Spinoza, yes. Warren, yes. White, yes. Chairman Smiley, yes.
Yes for me, please.
Leash. Walker is voting yes. Logan is voting yes. Swearingen, Washington is voting yes.
This item passes. All right, this brings us to the end of our meeting. We have several come-in cards. We're gonna take our time, listen to each person. And for the first person, Mr. Calvin Harris, followed by Brandon Washington. Could we put 2 minutes on the clock?
Thank you for hearing it. My name is Calvin Harris. I reside at 2792 Allen Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38128. And my complaint is about Golden Gate. And flooding in our front yard and backyard. And if they're allowed to do what they want to do and put their complex closer behind us, then that also would create even more drainage. And so that's what we are protesting, that Golden Gate do not be allowed to put their complex up.
So, are you done speaking, Mr. Harris? Are you done speaking?
Yeah.
So I think this is the first time that any of the council members heard of this particular issue. And I believe that is Councilwoman Easter Thomas's district. I think, yeah, so we're gonna do a fact finding, and I think Councilwoman Easter Thomas is gonna be reaching out to you and maybe Councilwoman Logan as well, just to get some information, because this is the first time we heard those issues. But thank you for coming here. Thank you for voicing your concerns, and we're gonna look into that matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have staff get with Mr. Harris and so we get some contact information? Mr. Brandon Washington, the floor is yours, good sir. 2 minutes on the clock.
Brandon Washington, 2000 North Parkway. Good evening, council members. Now, I know you all missed me at the last meeting, so I definitely had to speak at this one.
We did.
I know. Now, during your first meeting, I mentioned how Memphians, especially young ones, We'll remember the things that you all promised on the campaign trail and how we plan to make sure you keep those promises. Well, I'm back here today to remind you that we are still watching. Now, during your committee meeting earlier, you tabled the establishment of the Office of New Americans. Now, the reasoning behind this decision I agree with, but I want to make sure you all truly understand the urgency of establishing this office. This should not be something that's put on the back burner. This needs to be something that you start working on tomorrow. A growing amount of Memphians need this office, and I want to be here to remind you all how important this is. If you need help establishing this office, please reach out to organizations like Turk, Micah, and even me. Memphians need this office, and so make sure you get on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Stop missing meetings. We expect you to be here giving comments. But in all seriousness, we appreciate your engagement. Mr. Massey and Jay Opp, if that's not right. If you've been here before, you know you don't blame me, you blame Brookheimer. All right.
Good evening, Council. Richard Massey, 3615 Central Avenue. North Memphis has long served as a hub for Memphis music, Memphis culture, and some of the best barbecue found anywhere throughout our city. It has a long, storied history of Black opportunity, places of worship, and historic neighborhoods. But it's equally important to highlight the other history of North Memphis, and that's the history of environmental racism within that community. For as long as many residents of North Memphis can remember, contaminated soil from hazardous waste led to trees that no longer bore any fruit. The waste derived from the same Velsico plant on Warford Street that discharged dangerous chemicals into Cypress Creek. Now here we are today, and going forward, discussing a zoning ordinance that would place a sawmill directly adjacent to those same vulnerable neighborhoods. There is a reason why this project was struck down last November by the Shelby County Health Department, and that's because prolonged exposure to sawdust is cancerous. It can cause respiratory issues, and we are risking exposing our children at school, our church families, our homes, and the communities at large. In fact, the exposure from the project even extends to the Vecca community and surrounding Midtown neighborhoods. And here today, North Memphis and Midtown residents were here to demand an end to bigoted zoning that elevates industrial profits over human lives. They are here so that you can hear their story. They are here so that you will recognize their humanity. So what will you do, Council, going forward on March 5th? Because Black people shouldn't have to come here and demand that the place that they live, work, and play in is habitable for them and their children. They are human beings, not gambling chips, with human stories and human souls. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. So good to see you as always. Dr. Warren is in the queue.
I just want to congratulate our last two speakers for being named top 20 under 20 by the Memphis Flyer. Congratulations, gentlemen.
20 under 30. Way back when.
20 under 30, I'm sorry. 20. Under 30.
There we go. We almost there, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. All right. I believe Ms. Presley is gone. Just want to make sure before I move your car over here. All right, Mr. Opp.
Yeah, my name is Jay Opp. I live at 3287 Jewel Road in 38128. Here to talk about the same issue that Mr. Harris was here to talk about. I understand that we're going to do some fact finding on that, but I just wanted to stress the importance of making sure that we sit down and we have these conversations. It's very similar to what's going on with what was happening with Memphis Urban Wood. Nobody's discussing with the neighborhood about these developments that are growing right on our streets. This is going directly across the street from my grandmother's house and can cause a lot of issues on our neighborhood. So I'd love for us to sit down and have these conversations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Opp. This is my first time seeing you, so I hope this is not your last council meeting. I appreciate you, brother. Dennis, I'm going to butcher your last name. Alstraw? Okay. All right, we're going to hold yours. Floyd Rogers. All right, Mr. Rogers, we're going to move your card. Ms. Hicks, are you here? Oh, there you go. You look very nice today. Ms. Hicks, talk to us. 2 minutes on the clock, please.
Good evening. Glenda Hicks, 608 Gillies Road, 38109. So we are here today, the second month of the new year, and an issue welcoming this new council is the consideration of creating health benefits for elected officials. After serving only 8 years of public service, simply put, to serve is to perform duties for others, for other persons, to work for others, to do your duty for or to others. In the spiritual scope, to serve is to put others before yourself, always considering their genuine needs. How does even considering a benefit that a full-time tenured employee of the city does not even get fair? I'm very concerned that this issue came up and, of course, flowed over from last year. And with this new council, and I know I've spoken with some of you, I know that the concerns of citizens is number one. And to consider approving such a thing when this city of Memphis sees such, I believe it's 27% poverty rate, that's just not in the best interests of those that this council serves. So I trust that you all will put foremost the fact that you are serving citizens, and that is number one. And to put yourselves above them and award yourself such would not be in the best interests of Memphians. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hicks. Always good to see you. And you do come pretty regularly, so we appreciate that. Ms. Catron, I know you're here. Uh-oh. You're so eager. That's what I'm talking about. Ms. Catron, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council. Lucille Catron, 979 Grand Street, 38114. We are celebrating Black History Month. Yet, once again, Lucille stand before you in the biggest fight there is. Beale Street Development Corporation calls to redevelopment of Beale Street. It's one of the largest redevelopments for African Americans in this city, in the state of Tennessee. It was after Dr. King assassination in '68 when the protesters wreaked havoc on Beale and in downtown Memphis. Beale Street became a ghost town, rolling with tumbleweeds. With Beale Street rich history, you had Reverend James Snedders, Reverend James E. Smith, my husband, Randall Catron, George Miller, and others. They went to the mayor of Memphis, and the mayor laughed at them. They went back. He laughed again. He got sick of looking at them. Finally, he told those African-American men that if you can get the funding, Beale Street is yours. He thought he was a joke to him. Those men went to Washington, D.C. Those black men got a grand total of $23 million. Today's dollars, that's over $240 million. Well, we're still in court. Those men completed the development. They want all to believe that someone else did this project. Not one name is on those papers for that $23 million by Beale Street Development Corporation. I'm in a lawsuit, got to go to court again Thursday. 25 years, Council. We've been going to court 25 years. Why? I want to understand, because we have the wrong ethnicity. We have not received $1, not one. And I asked council to intervene. I'm tired. They killed my husband. This is what the city is saying, that my husband signed away Bill Street to the city of Memphis. He was in a coma. And yet we having to prove spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers to fight this. And the city know they standing on wrong. So how much longer, council? I just ask. I can't rest until I put this man to rest. I can't rest. I'm tired. In a coma. And so we have given these lawyers millions of dollars off our works, millions, to take Bill Street from us, millions. But this is what they do to him. They said he signed away the rights February the 3rd. This was him February the 3rd. Rushed to the hospital for the 5th time.
Ms. Catron, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Sorry, sir. I just need council to intervene. We got to do what's right. Bill Street will not grow, will not move forward until they do right by Bill Street Development Corporation. And this man right here, Randall Catron, he deserved better counsel. All his young life, he gave to Bill. All my young life, I done gave to Bill since I was 34. I'm 64 now. I'm tired of fighting.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You look good for 64. You look real good.
Thank you, sir.
You cut up then. I'm not sure if council can intervene, but we have some very good legal representation, and we can have some conversations with our body. Mr. Carlton Ratliff. Mr. Ratliff. Doesn't appear that Mr. Ratliff is here. All right, Mr. Kent, talk to us. It's been so long since we heard from you. So we eagerly await your comments today.
Joe Kent, 5111 Flamingo. Considering the just a 2024 rate increase, will this historic council now accommodate, not stifle public voice, and allow public comment at every meeting before the publicly owned MLGW consent agenda is considered? Will this historic council take back accountability and rescind the 25-26 rate increases? Will this historic council perform an I Love Me and through resolution formally recognize itself and local taxpayers for being the most generous of any local public in the nation to a state-funded higher ed institution in the University of Memphis? You can all do an I Love Me. You're politicians after all. That's easy for you, for politicians to do. When will the Historic County Council schedule in committee the assessor's report now available on corporate pilot tax incentives? Will this historic council ask for project updates and completion dates on the record next meeting for the ripped off Cobblestones Landing and City Hall projects?
Yes.
No, I mean, really. They've been ripped off. Now, I have a question for Attorney Gibson. I cannot get her to answer any FOIs. And one of them involves a ripped off City Hall project. And I do get it, you're conditioned to being ripped off by the boys and want your directors and all of you to feel good about it. Me's am so a gonna trust them boys anyways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. I'm not even sure what you just said at the end, but thank you. This brings us to our last comment card. Mr. Brody, give us the closing remarks and benediction.
Excuse me, there's a Mr. Lewis.
I have no comment card. Absolutely. I don't have a comment card. Cedric, is there any other comment cards over there?
All right.
All right, I don't see any other comment cards. Cedric, we have any other comment cards? This it? I don't believe I made a mistake. But if I made a mistake, forgive me. This is the only comment card I have. Mr. Brody, bring us up.
Ready? My name is Walter Brody. I stay at 4256 Ledbetter Code, Memphis, Tennessee 38109. Hey, the address, I'm gonna change my address. It's gonna be 3356 Justine Street. So, John needs to know.
Now you confuse me. You got a different address now? I'm so used to you being in the same
just
spot.
moved around about a month ago. But if you want to keep 4256 Ledbetter Code, it's good.
Go ahead.
All
I'm
right.
teasing.
All right. Look at you. Hey, I got the scripture for you. I almost missed everything. All I just had in my mind and my spirit is said, I command you. And when God said command you, that means you go and do it no matter what. So I hope somebody can hear that and take heed. And I got the scripture here, Hebrew 3rd chapter, 5th verse. And it says, and Moses verbally was faithful in all his house as a servant for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after. Let's just go in to pray right now. Heavenly Father, I thank you once again for allowing me to come here, Father God. Father God, continue to bless all the city council members, Father God. Bless the chairman, bless him and all his family members. Bless all of them and all their family members. Bless everybody who's working behind the scenes, Father God, who's working real hard, Father God. Bless everybody who came up here and voiced their opinion. Bless all our leaders. Bless both our mayors, Shelby County Commission. Bless our president, our vice president, every Republican, Democrat, Independent, Congress. Father God, bless every saint, every sinner in this city, this state, this country, and all around the world. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen and amen.
Thank you, Mr. Brody. I entertain a motion. Move by. All right, we adjourn.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Lewis, what did you want to speak about? What did you want to speak about? Could you come to the mic? Could you come to the mic?
Good night, Councilwoman. Thank you.